So then when he handed you the baton, what was like the next step? What was the process there? And then in that process, one of the questions was, what are your 2 favorite ingredients in Shakeology?
Oh yeah. Good couple questions. First one's easier to answer than the second one. The first thing, which is a very important thing, I think, when you're starting any kind of project in your life, is you ask yourself, what's the intent of this? So I ask myself, what do people require right here, right now, in this day and age, to help them have a healthier life? That's really the genesis of it, because it's not just to throw a bunch of superfoods together and hope that it works. It's really, what gift can it have in our radically different world? We're radically different than our ancestors, right? Why am I running all over the world to get some of the greatest superfoods in the world that have been used for thousands and thousands of years? Because we need it. Why do we need it? We need it because we're in a different day and age, right? We're dealing with stressors that we can't even see that are stressing us. My microphone, my computer, the toxins that are in our atmosphere, the toxins that are in our water, the psychological strain of this sped up world. We're dealing, even in our home, from the carpets to the deodorants to the paints to all of that stuff, we're getting, I call these things, like the cell phone and everything, I call these fatal conveniences, right? So they're very convenient, but yet there's a fatalism on one side, because if we're putting this up to our ear all the time, it's absolutely 100% affecting your health. There is no debate on that. So there's a lot of these things. So bottom line, we're stressed so hard, and so, not to mention nutritional stress. So any of these high reward, low density foods that we're eating on a regular basis, they may taste good. They may feel good from a hit perspective and a brain chemistry perspective, but they're nutritionally depleted and very, very stressful in the body, because how is your body supposed to recognize something that wasn't even from the earth, wasn't even from the plants? There is no way that your body can really understand what is going on. So they may be hitting you in a, I love my, and I'm not to bash, like, people need to live. I understand that. So I'm not here to bash junk food per se. I kind of am, but it's really the culture of food that we've created. We've gotten way off base in what food actually is. And so then you say to me, well, these are powders in a bag. Yes, they are, but they're also very carefully grown, very carefully processed. They're slow dried. The temperature is low. We test them so that the biochemical compound markers are still in the ingredient. We send hordes of teams around the world to make sure every ingredient abides by the safety standards, the quality standards, and the potency standards that we have set. This is very, very important. This is also, some of the things that I'm saying right now is incredibly important for the so-called high price objections that people ask me all the time. Because of what I said in the beginning, the very thing that got me into this world was the very poor quality of everyone else, right? So I saw that people aren't doing this very well, so why don't we do it well? Unfortunately, we're in a false kind of sense of what the industry is, because we think, well, if I look at the world, let's just pick on an ingredient. If I look at the world of, say, camu, right? I could look at that and find a price of, I don't know, I'm just making up a number, but if I need a price of $20 a kilo, I could probably find it somewhere because someone could cut it with other things. They could dilute it down. They could take a poor quality, and it would show up on the white piece of paper and say, hey, this is Camu, and it's going to be in my product. That's all that most companies accept. They actually don't know the potency of it. They don't know the active components of it. They don't know who processes it in the country of origin. And certainly they don't have any relationship with the farmers that are actually growing it or processing it. So there's a huge line of effort that we go into on the backside that isn't necessarily, we're working on it, a sexy part of the story, because everyone else should be acting in accordance with this kind of ethics. And when you see an inferior product, you see a poor quality product out there that is, of course, you don't know that it's a poor quality, but it's a cheaper price. I can almost guarantee you that most of those products out there have very little, if at all, any quality assurance teams, any research and development teams, and certainly don't have a relationship with the people actually growing it. So a Beachbody, we send people hundreds of thousands of miles every year around the world, following the traces of where I've been, and following up with all of those relationships to make sure, and spending millions of dollars to do it. All intents and purposes, we don't have to do it. We do it because we believe it's the right thing to do, and it needs to, what is in that bag needs to be in that bag, period, end of story. And that's really a very important aspect that we are actually looking at doing some videos to give you coaches a little more ammo in that way. I can't say when they'll be ready and when that information, but because of these podcasts that I've been doing more of and speaking to this, the coaches have requested that, so we absolutely want to do that. So anyway, there's many different things in there, but that's a really important aspect.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to look at my bag of Shakeology the same after listening to that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what about this is a tough one. Your two favorite ingredients.